Hey guys, Aaron here from MITS Alloy. So one question we get asked about all the time is how easy is it to take a canopy off one of our trays? So behind me I've got Harry's BT50 and I'm going to show you a step-by-step process of how it's done. Let's get into it. Rightio, before we get into it, I'll just run through the tools that you need to take the canopy off the tray. So first of all, you'll need a 19mm open-ended spanner. We've got a long one for this process, and then an impact driver with an 18mm socket on it. And of course, your set of lift-off legs, you will have a pair of rights and a pair of left, and we'll set that out shortly. Okay, so before we get into it, we just want to check on a few measurements. With our standard lift-off legs, we do know that the bottom pin goes to 1350mm to the center of the bottom pin in height, overall lift. So we just want to check our bottom pin. So we have 1205mm here. So we've got about 150mm of lift to play with in these legs. But one key consideration that's often overlooked is the suspension unloading. So in this we've got 700 kilo constants, and it will probably unload at about anywhere from 30 to 50mm. Another thing to think about as well is if you do have a higher lifted cars, meaning you might have a 2 or 3 inch lift with 35s, portals on a Land Cruiser or something like that, we do offer a different set of legs, the Titan legs, and they do go above that to be able to take the canopies off the even more lifted cars. So before we set up all our legs, we just want to unbolt the canopy from the tray. So once you've taken your rubber grommet out of the corner of the canopy, you will see the head of the bolt. So we're just going to use our socket and our spanner and undo this bolt. So once you've taken out your bolt, you just want to put all your pieces on that bolt and throw it in the canopy. Because as you lift it up, you will also see the bush under there. You don't want to lose it. I just throw these in the canopy, keeps them nice and safe for when you go to put it back on. Before we get set up, we just want to make sure that we've got the right legs for each hole. So as you see, we've got the pins on the inside and the handle on the outside. You always want the handle on the outside of the canopy, which allows you to open the door up when your canopy is lifted off. Now that we've got the legs in the holes, we just want to adjust the legs to suit. So we just take the pressure off, take your pin out, lower the bottom part of the leg and set the pin in into its locked out position. And now we're just going to lower the leg so it's just off the ground, and then repeat that on all 4 legs. Before we go ahead and lift the canopy off, I'm just going to take the dual spares off. Each tyre does weigh around 40 kilos, but when you get up to that sort of 35s, even 37s, they can weigh up to 50, 60, 70 kilos. So we recommend taking your tyres off just to give the canopy a bit better balance. So now that we've taken our dual spares off, we're just going to slowly start to wind up the legs to lift the canopy off. I'm starting at the front passenger side here, and I'm going to work my way over to the driver's side and then to the back. What we want to do is create about 50mm lift between the tray bed and the canopy itself, because as the suspension unloads, it's going to come up, and that'll allow us to drive the vehicle out. And then last thing before we drive the vehicle out, we just want to undo all our connections for our solar, central locking, anything like that, and our 12 volt. There we go. Now we're good to drive it out. So now that we're ready to drive the vehicle out from under the canopy, just want to make sure that my wheels are pointing straight. So just want to get a nice clean line out from under the canopy. Perfect. And what I'll also do is just adjust my mirrors so that they're facing down at the tyres and I can see all the clearance in the legs. So with those things all ready, we're just going to slowly creep our way forward out from under the canopy. So now that we've got the canopy off, there is a few things you really need to be mindful about. There is just slightly moving this, but there is a fair bit of lateral and forward and sideways motion in this. They aren't the stablest things. So there's a few ways you can combat that. You can strap it with some ratchet straps, cross bracing it. That's one way of doing it. You could do some metal straps as well if you've got the ability to do that at your house. When it comes time to put the canopy on, it is simply just a reverse process of what I've just shown you. But I would recommend doing it with two people, as it is a bit of a finesse process in guiding the car and lining it up correctly to be able to put the canopy back onto your tray. If you've got any questions about the process of taking your canopy off your Evo 2 tray, drop them down below and I'll happily answer them for you. Cheers guys.